This is day 5, doing the random password generator. Let's jump into it. There are two versions of this. The first one, in the first one, you just generate a password with random letters, random symbols, random numbers based on how many of each the user chooses, and you just kind of put them one after the other. So letters, symbols, numbers. And then there's a hard version where you actually randomize these. So I guess I'll just build this first and then I'll figure out how to do this one. It's probably just a matter of, well, let's go here real quick. So this is the boilerplate. Right? So we got letters A to Z, including capitals. We got numbers 0 through 9, and we got some symbols. So this stuff is already set up for us. There's a welcome message, and then we have 3 inputs, each of which converts the input to an integer. How many letters, how many symbols, how many numbers do you want? Okay, so really the crux of this exercise is to take the input by the user and create the password. So how would we do that? Well, we're going to take the number of letters the user wants, for example, 3, and randomly grab 3 letters from the letters list. Repeat for numbers and symbols lists. And then create a password variable and store them in it. And then later, randomize the way they are stored. I think that's pretty much it. All right. So how do we grab 3 letters from here? Well, we're going to definitely need the random module. So let's grab them and see that we're grabbing 3 different letters. So the user says, for example, 3. So we're going to access the letters by index. So we pick 3 letters, right? How would we pick one? How do we pick one random letter from letters? Would we do that? Like if I do 0, I'll grab A. Get rid of this 2. Okay, so if I say So one is B, right? So if the user says I want one letter, but now I'm accessing the actual object by index. I want to randomly pick one. How do I randomly pick one? One thing. How do you randomly pick one? I'm not even gonna do the AI thing. I'm gonna do caveman style. Google. Yeah, choice. Okay, that's what I thought, right? Sorry for the brightness thingy. Yeah. So if we pass letters to random, then we get a random letter. But we're only getting one. Does this have choose a random element sequence? This is good for retrieving one element, right? But we want to select like n number of elements. So random sample. Got a list, you do random, you do sample. Okay. Now I am going to go to ChatGPT. And I want to ask it, uh, yeah, that's right. Choice returns exactly one element, whereas sample, the basic difference is that it will return the number of elements that you asked because it takes a second argument. Then there's something called choices. You can choices. And important to note that sample has no repeats. So the difference between choices and the difference between sample and choices is that choices allows repeats. Okay, we don't care about that. So we're going to do sample. we're going to do sample letters and 3. So we are extracting 3 random things. Great. All right. So the user is going to ask us for, oh, I keep, never mind. So we run this, the user gives us the number of letters and we print random sample from letters, this many. So if I run this, it asks me, right? And I say 5, get 5. Run it again, I run this, I say 7, let's say 12, I get 12. So in this way, we will get our random sample letters. So we're going to get our letters, random letters, and then we're going to repeat this for numbers of the list. Of course, we don't want to print them ultimately, right? We want to put them in the string that will hold our password, right? So this will be numbers, this will be symbols. How many letters? 3. How many symbols? Let's say 2. And how many numbers? Let's say 7. Oh, whoops. From letters, from. Let's do it like this. Letters, numbers, symbols, letters, numbers. Okay. So 3 letters, 5 numbers, 2 symbols, and here it is. Okay, cool. So these give us back 3 lists. Now we gotta combine these into a single string. Now, don't remember how we do that. Obviously, we're gonna have an empty password. So we're gonna do, could I take these 3 lists and combine them into one list and then combine all elements into a single string? We do it like that. But first, let's caveman it again. Can convert the whole list into a string format. Convert the entire list into a string. Okay. So if I do this, for example, right, let's get rid of these for now. would the best approach here be to take the three lists containing the randomly selected number of elements for letters, numbers, and symbols, combine that into a single list, then convert and combine every element into a single string? What's the easiest data type to build up before I have that string? But if I combine the three groups in the order, what pattern will every into one string? Okay, so we have this and went right. Does it have a way to join? Join, join, yeah. Should have known that, bruh. Should have known that. Should have remembered that rather. So how do we do? Let's look here. Yeah, we got a tuple x joins them into one string. String dot join. So you got a dictionary, right? String dot join iterable. Actually, no. Let's go here. Don't care about your tuple, bro. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so if I remove this, we're just gonna, right. So we would say password, that's what I thought, password, join, right? Hmm. I guess I could just take these and stick them in here, but that would be pretty ugly, right? Number of letters. Ah, I don't know if this is the most elegant solution. Okay. Numbers chosen. Symbol chosen. And now I can do so if I run this, how many letters do you want? 3 letters, 4 numbers, 2 symbols. Takes exactly 1 argument. String join takes 1 argument. Oh, I see. Choices. How's this? Number of letters, number numbers, number of symbols. Everybody got choices. I choose to get money. I stuck to this bread. So we say 3 letters, 4 numbers, and 2 symbols. Three letters, two numbers, four symbol, five symbols. Right. So this needs to be converted to a string. And we can do that. I mean, I could do it here, I could do it here. I don't know what the best place to do it would be, but I'll do it here. So two letters, three numbers, one symbol. Oh no. I just printed 231, bro. Yeah, okay. Because let's, okay, that didn't really make sense, but okay. I was gonna say combine choices. Right? And three letters, two numbers, one symbol. Oh, right. Again. Three letters, two numbers, one symbol. Okay, that didn't quite work out the way we thought. So this gives me a list, right? This gives me a list. One sec. All right, back at it. So, got into a bit of a mess here, right? So, first off, I'm going to get rid of all this nonsense first. Actually, no. Let's get rid of the string stuff for now, okay? This already gives us a list, we know. So one list, two lists, three lists, and then we combine this into a bigger list. Great. Then we take this bigger list, we join it. See this. List object. Yeah, because I'm calling join on combined choices, which is a list. Join is a string method, it's not a list method. This is a list containing three lists. Um, how do I turn it into a single list? You can do this with lists. Okay, then what? So password is my empty list. 3, 2, 1. And there it is, 3 letters, 2 numbers, 1. You know? So the idea, just like I said before, I just didn't know how to do the right. Got a little lost in the weeds, but I think the overview was pretty good. Take the number of letters, however many the user says, and randomly grab three letters from that list. Repeat for the other two lists. That's here. We're doing that with the random sample. Don't need that, right? So we got three lists, and then we take these three lists, combine them into a single list using this just plus, right? Just concatenating the lists, I guess, into a combined choices list. Then we have a string, and we join those combined choices into this empty string, which is then our password, and then we print the password and we're done. Now, the next level was that this here itself is randomized, which is here. So, where would this happen? I'm guessing here or before here, like we do something to combine choices here before we join it to password. GPT says what's easier, randomize a string or randomize the list before turning it into a string. That's what I was just saying, bro. I was just saying that just now. In so many words. Randomize a list or randomize a string. I don't know. I don't know which is easier because I'm not sure what methods are available. But apparently it would be easier to randomize a list before joining it into a string. And I think it would also be cleaner to look at. So there is a function in the random module that shuffles a list in place. Okay? I don't know it. Let's find it. Brightness alert. So we want to shuffle. Can I look for shuffle? To shuffle an immutable, return a new shuffle list. Shuffle. So I shuffle it, bro. Random dot shuffle. Boom. So I'm trying to random dot shuffle combined choices. I feel this is messy as hell, but whatever. Just so 3 letters, 2 numbers, 1 symbol. Looks pretty shuffled to me. Let's do it again. 5 letters, 6 numbers, 3 symbols. Okay, so this is done. But it's pretty ugly. All right, GPT says shuffle choices random. So this here is misleading. What does combined choices contain after this? And what does random dot shuffle? Hold on, it says to print these. 3, 2, 1. combined choices and shuffled choices returns none. So shuffle modifies the existing object and returns nothing. So this doesn't do anything. So we don't need that. Three, two, let's say four symbols, and there it is. Let's say 7 letters, 8 numbers, 10 symbols. Oh, right. 3 letters, 8 numbers. Yeah, our symbols list has like 1, 2, 3, 8. Yeah, so let's say like 6 symbols. Yeah. Now, I want to ask GPT, anyway, to make this look better, according to best practices, without, getting into functions and, fancy ass stuff. So, it says get rid of unnecessary parentheses. Don't use F strings when there's nothing to interpolate. Yeah, okay. Add a blank line to separate the stages of the program. So we got these three. Then we got this part here. We got the path, and apparently we could put a line here that would look nice. For the comments, it says describe how rather than why. They don't add much because the code is already readable. Remove them or replace them with section headers. For example, randomly select characters. And shuffle choices. Combine and shuffle combine choices and shuffle combined choice. Convert combined choice join combined choice to single string. And I think we all know what print does, so I think that's good. Okay, I think that's pretty readable. Combine choices and just GPT is recommending, like I said, combine choices and shuffle. A little less wordy. I'm trying to say I'm wordy, bro. Naming. It's Instead of combined choices, password chars. Oh, that feels more programmy to me. Password chars. I do hate my naming. That makes sense. But you know, this could have been yeah, this could have been selected letters, selected numbers, selected symbols. I think a lot about the naming, you know? I really feel like there's just selected symbols, selected numbers, right? And then instead of combined choices, could also do like letters chars, you know, characters, number chars. It's going to leave it like this because it's more readable, right? And then it does make sense that this here would simply be password, and then we do this chars for characters. Then of course we take this, name variables after what they represent, not what the last line of code did to produce them, right? Selected letters represents a set of letters selected for the password. Even if tomorrow we stopped using random.sample and got them some other way, then it would still make sense. I think this looks a lot better. I'm going to run it one last time. So we say 12 letters, 8 numbers, 7 symbols. And let's do one last one. 1 letter, 8 numbers, 7 symbols. Because it's 187 and an undercover cop. Yeah, and you don't stop. Because it's one. All right, that's it today.